Okay.
I can't hear you, Dave.
Like he's got some sort of problem.
Hello?
That sounds good.
There he goes.
Okay. Just had the wrong driver. Actually, I'm something, it came up weird today, so I'm in the web browser part. So anyway, this week I've been doing actually some chores around, but not too much ham radio changing. So I have been doing some uh, putting together the talks and some other stuff. TAPR-HamSCI going to have a meeting next, our board meeting next week. So I was getting ready for that. And so that's it for me. Next on the list is Nathaniel, W2NAF. Go ahead.
Thanks, Dave. I've had a lot going on over the past week or so. Let's see. I spent some time on Friday with Bill Engelke, trying to get my systems reporting back to University of Alabama system, and I've made some progress on them. Some of them seem to be working. Some of them are not uploading quite properly. So I'll probably have to get with Bill again at some point to review those again. We are making great progress towards doing the installation, a personal space weather station installation at K3LR. We're doing that August 4th through 7th. We're going to have a number of Scranton people go, and on that Wednesday, August 6th, there's going to be a barbecue, and everyone's invited. So anyone wants to head out to K3LR and get a hotel room or something, you're welcome to come to the barbecue and see what we're doing. And I think Gary McKeaton is putting out something on the listserv about that. Let's see. I'm also working on amassing parts to try to test the GPS serial card situation for myself. I now have a couple M.2 serial cards in hand. I have a regular B-Link that we are using with the RX888 system. I ordered a new B-Link that's slightly more powerful to test out as well. I'm still waiting for a couple parts and state of drive and a few other things that are supposed to come in tomorrow before I can start testing that, but I am trying to do that. And yeah, I've also started kind of mass ordering parts for the Daisy 2 project. So I placed an order for 25 of the DX Engineering active verticals, and I'm working with Paul to get 30, I think, of the filters, and I'm hoping that I can get at least one of them before we go to K3LR, so I could install it at K3LR. I don't know if that's possible.
Okay, when do you need? When are you leaving? When do you need it?
We are leaving August 4th. So if we could...
Yeah, no, I've got some, and I can send you 5 right now if that would help.
Sure, that would be wonderful. And
okay, let's put it on. I'll put it on your tab.
Great. And I already I got your invoice and I approved it today. So the paperwork is starting to go through at the university. So that'll take care of that, will be processed, or it is in the process of being processed. And yeah, and I had we got a new RX888 system running at Jenny Jump last week in Hope, New Jersey. So that is up and running and reporting, and I think doing fairly well, aside from the fact that the signal levels our little low from the active vertical that's out at Jenny Jump. That's actually an older version of the active vertical. That's when I installed back in 2018, and they have a slightly different version. So in the future, I may replace that with the new active vertical that we are using, and that might have more gain on it. But that is going. And then Rob Robinette reviewed the spectra of my stations here at my house at W2NAF, connected to both the SAS and active vertical. And apparently I still have a bunch of like RFI ingress that we're trying to figure out, and it's not performing as well as we'd like it to. It is kind of working, but I'm told it can work much better. So just lots and lots of stuff going on. Back to net.
Okay. Next on the list, we have Elmer in 3 AGE. Mic muted, Elmer.
And I unmute. That works better. Not really much more to report. I've been working on different power supply sources for VLF and HF interaction and everything else. So the bench is just cluttered with design ideas, but nothing, that's ultra new or anything like that to report at this time. Back to you.
Okay. Next on the list is Dave Julian, WB9YIG. Go ahead, Dave.
Good evening, folks. Not much going on here, just more cleaning of the shack and playing with 3D print stuff and just having a good time with that. So turn it back to you guys.
Okay. Next on the list is Scott Newell in 5TNL. And hopefully Scott got the article I sent him.
Sure did. Thanks
Good
for that.
deal.
Yeah. Also,
at some time, I'd like to tell you a story. I listened to Phil when he was writing that article, and he explained the whole experiment, and it was a fascinating story.
I probably need to read it before you do that, though. So I've got the
Okay.
background. I scanned it, but that's about it.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
this
I've been doing these weekly recordings on radio stuff since 2007, I think. So it was not video in the past, but it was just voice. Anyway, is there anything else, Scott?
Lots of IQ samples versus stereo frame confusion this week. Good progress on the local time ref recording stuff. And I grabbed a directional coupler and step attenuator off eBay this morning. I'll drop those links in the chat if anyone will sanity check them for suitability on the coupling the source to the 888. Appreciate it. And back to net. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Next on the list is Bill Engelkey. Go ahead, Bill.
Thanks, Dave. Good evening to you. Good evening to the net. Quite busy here as always. I turned over 28 of the Grape 2 hard drives over to our HP, our High Performance Computing Center people, and they said they're going to plug them directly into the server without having to go through all the struggle over the network and all that I've been having to do. So they should be able to load those in 3-4 hours a piece, I think. And so that will speed that process up. I also made some progress on setting up the new server. I got Django to run with Apache on it. That's good progress on that. So also trying to put up my new A4S Cushcraft antenna. I want to align all the weep holes in the traps, but I found out one of the traps doesn't have weep holes. Found out one and had to track down Martin Jew himself to talk about this. And he says, well, you can drill the holes yourself or put them in the side, or you can just not have the holes. So he doesn't seem to have any particular recommendation about it. But I'm afraid to drill into these traps myself, because without a drill press, you can't control how deep you go into it. And if you hit the coil or something, you destroy the trap, and you're not going to get a replacement from Cushcraft, because Cushcraft is basically in suspended animation right now. So anyway, I worked with, I made this 6-inch diameter balun that you have to use to wrap with RG8 to hook this antenna up. So I did that on my 3D printer. So now I've got this gigantic balun that I have to wrap with RG8. So that'll be a fun little project. So anyway, making progress on various fronts. So back to Ned.
Very good. Next on the list is Phil, K9Q. Go ahead, Phil.
Hey guys, nothing really to report here this week, so I'll pass for now.
Okay. And next on the list is Clint, KA7OEI. Go ahead, Clint.
Yeah, just sitting here communicating with what's his name, Scott. He got the right combiners actually for the splitters. I'm also trying to figure out a problem with some of the Whisper Demon on at Northern Utah. Other servers giving a cryptic message about wanting me to start the Watchdog Demon, but I have no idea what it really wants. So, oh well, I'll figure that out eventually. But other than that, not much.
Okay. Next on the list seems to be the busy person this week, Paul Elliott.
Okay, yeah, I got 2 monitors running here, so it takes a while to find the mouse. Sorry. Yeah, a little bit busy. It's fun, busy stuff though. The balun that I don't know, some of us talked about, got that design. Yeah, I guess it was on, what was it? That's probably on Wednesday's Whisper Demon call. Just for testing the, the RJ11, the Ethernet cable connections out to the balanced probe antennas and such. So I think it's going to become a TAPR product, although it looks like I'm going to be making the first articles here and then handing it off to TAPR. But that'll be, useful if for anybody that's doing, Cat5, balanced connections out to an antenna. What else? Working with Jonathan Rizzo on the, GPS unit. Got well, 3 more of those are on their way to Jonathan, so he'll have all 4 of them, and I'm going to be handing off the full design file set. So if you guys want to make more, I told Jonathan I'd rather not hand assemble a whole bunch more. It's just other stuff I probably need to be doing. There are other projects. Yeah, working on the timestamp BPSK stuff. I'm waiting for some inductors. I'm going to put a filter in. I think we're homing in on appropriate frequencies and amplitudes, and then I can hand that off to Scott, although what he's got going's probably, as good or better, but I'd like to see if somebody give it a try, the one I've put together. And finally, Clint, that kind of battery momentary backup design, I'm looking at that. Yeah, it's pretty clever. I wouldn't mind trying to. I think that thing's got applications well beyond, the HamSCI stuff. So I think it would be a pretty neat, actual product. I'd like to. Anyway, we can talk about some of the details, but it's a cool design. Thank you for putting that up. And I guess that's about it from here. So back to Net.
Okay. Next on the list is Jonathan, KC3EEY. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I was working with, as Paul mentioned, we after a successful test of the GPS interface box. He finished up assembly of the rest, and he sent those sent those out. Made some small changes to the design, and I'm gonna try to get 5 more of them built. I will do a test of design by hand assembling one, but I'll get the surface mount parts assembled with JLC. This way it makes it much easier. I could do all that surface mount assembly, but when there's so much of them, it takes up a lot of time. So, and I also did the first test of my preamp board, and I made a small silkscreen error on the connector. The positive is where the negative should be, and the negative is where the positive should be. But you know, there's a Schottky diode in series to protect it. So once I fixed that, it came right to life. That familiar 60 hertz hum and harmonics that you hear when you're testing these things inside on the bench, of course. That a very you know, satisfying. It's probably the only time that power line hum and harmonics are actually satisfying to hear when you do a when you assemble one of these things on the bench. So I'm actually quite happy with that. But unfortunately, I haven't really had much time to verify everything is correct. Although I did check and double check and check multiple times the schematic and the board layout and everything else. I ran all the DRC checks in KiCad, and everything seems to check out. But I just want to do like a hand check myself with a meter just to be sure. But I'm sure that everything is fine, especially since it came right to life. So, but I didn't really have much time to because I was on vacation at a Dark Shadows convention. That's all I have. Back to the net.
Okay. Next on the list is Dave H. W6OQ. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, here we go. I had a little trouble getting unmuted. Yeah, I'm out here in chilly Los Angeles. I don't know what's going on here with the weather, but it's been kind of cool the last couple of days, especially for the middle of July. Anyway, not much else happening. Thanks.
Okay. Next on the list is Jim, K4BSE. Go ahead, Jim.
Good evening. Well, not a whole lot going on here. I've been tied up on other things. Still haven't gotten my Grape 1 reporting back properly, but I hope to work on that this week. Otherwise, haven't had time to do much with radio. Back to net, K4BSE.
Okay. And next on the list is Tom, N5EG. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, good evening, Dave, everyone in the group. Still working on the schematic for the 4-channel receiver, and got most of the big 400-pin HMAC connector wired up. Other thing, I installed GNU Octave and started playing with linear algebra. Pretty neat tool, actually, and able to do some of the basic matrix operations for the music algorithm, multiple signal classification algorithm, and get a feel for that. Back to the group.
Very good. Yes, that's a fun piece of software, at least for some people. Next on the list, we have Michael Howen, AC0G. Go ahead, Michael.
Good evening, everybody. Haven't been too busy in radio world, with a couple of little exceptions here and there, poking into Whisper Demon things. So back to net.
Okay. And next we have David, N1HAC. Go ahead, David.
Good evening. Little late to the party, but we actually have something active going on right now, and I'm wondering if anyone's got experience with the new 4-channel red pitaya, because yeah, if we had our 4-channel, we'd be using it, but we're sending up, trying to set up a new interferometer up into Toolik Lake, Alaska. It'll have 2 cross dipoles as the reference antenna, and then 2 side antennas, so accounting for 4 channels. We're kind of neophytes at this point with GNU radio and things like that, because our the person Terry Kovacs, who had set these things up for us in the past, retired a little while ago. So if there's any guidance as to how to get a 4-channel red pitaya up and running, we'd be open to it. Back to net.
Okay, well, that brings us to the end of the list from my point of view. Anybody not been called on? If none heard, we are open for general discussion.
Thanks, Dave. I wonder if Elmer and Jonathan want to talk at all about what they're doing with the VLF and HF power supplies. And you may just be communicating via email, which is fine too, but
Unmute. There we go. So I've been looking at the coil-to-coil power supply. Hey, Jonathan, if the frequency was down at 58 something, 58.3, is that too close to 60 for you?
I don't know how wide the bandwidth is of WWDB. It's the first time that I would be receiving it since we're using the Behringer. It could be moved, but I think there's some other VLF receiver or VLF transmitters around 50 kilohertz, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, right now I have a filter in, and I adjusted regulators and things like that, and I'm down to 58.3-ish. Narrow. It's very narrow, but again, it's just real quick bench testing. I have, for those, I've got a battery system working right now that I've been testing, where a battery is being charged, another battery is online to drive the receivers so that it's completely floating, again, on battery. And running the DXE plus the VLF, I've just been monitoring to see if my duty cycle of being on charge versus being on load is adequate. And so far, everything's working. I keep looking at my amp meter and it says 0. It switches, it goes to about an amp, and then it drops down to 0 rather quickly. So the idea that if we were to use a battery-driven system to be galvanically just completely isolated, I have that functioning now. The glitch between the battery switch was suppressed with a few capacitors and made it disappear. What I'm working now is multiple ways of powering the VLF alongside, not giving up on the galvanic isolation of the two coil, but I don't know that it's necessary that the DC itself feeding VLF and HF, because there's no switching there, if there's a problem. And I am using the old style DXE as my load. So I continue to do that work. It's still got a few more days of manipulation before I can understand, what I have here to successfully make reports on. But right now, it's every day gets better and better, at least in my opinion. Did that answer your question, Nathaniel?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm using. That is the battery.
Okay.
They don't weigh anything.
That looks great.
And I'm using a small. This is such a mess here, but what the heck? There's a small, tiny DC, switching power supply amp meter, and then it feeds the switcher, the relay bank. And I have two of these. This is just one I threw together really quick. And then the two batteries are here. That's feeding. Let's see if I can get a picture of it. That's feeding a buck into the coil over to the receiver. There is the battery that's, what did I say this was? 4 amps? Yeah, 4.4 amps or something like that. And then connected to the DXE. DXE. And then the, you can't see it, but it's up there, the VLF antenna equipment. So I have the same loads. I have the same loads that you have there at the shack. And right now it's operating well within what I thought it might do. The only thing is that I just don't know if the galvanic isolation of the coil to coil is really needed if we're just running off a battery at this point. So, but I continue to work with it.
That sounds good. What do you think, Jonathan? He might have stepped away for a minute. But okay, yeah, no, I think that sounds really interesting.
I still yet to put up my SAS after I tore it down to take to your place. That'll probably happen.
I think you left the little like field.
Yeah. There's a donation for your college to go play with it, because if you open it up, you can play.
Well, thank you.
I think I left something else there too. I can't remember what it was, but the idea is to put the SAS up and look at, because I have, I believe, the same but not as severe ingress that you have at the low end, where I have that big toroid, the ferrite.
Yeah.
I think I still have that same problem, because I am using those toroids here, although in the shack. I haven't tried moving it up to the antenna itself.
Yeah.
I don't know what would happen if, and I'm trying to figure out how to mount it, but if I had the coil right at the preamp, not at the base of the antenna, but what would happen if it was all the way at the preamp? I still don't understand why we need it, but it's something that I'm experimenting with slowly to see if I can capture the Kodak moment that indicates why we're having that difficulty.
Right. And I haven't caught up with emails yet, but I see you've also been doing some stuff with the fiber optic.
Yeah, the two cables I bought were DOA. I can't believe it. They were. I had such good hopes for maybe having something just to branch off. I've been talking to Robinette about some of the technology we used when we were in broadcasting and things like that. So I'm looking up possibly some old friends of how we might be able to achieve it, because the outcome of UHD, HDI, blah, blah, blah television, some of that, created some awful large bandwidth requirements. And I'm trying to see if companies like Evertz or whatever may have solutions that I could obtain some knowledge from, of chips that could be used as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where processing, try to do is see if I can come up and dream up processing right at the antenna with an optical link as opposed to doing the way we do it now. It's far-fetched, but there's research in that. The other one I was thinking about that came to me just as I was coming to this meeting was my LNA systems for the satellite, which were 500 megahertz wide. We did that optically. So the LNA was converted to L-band. Then the L-band was brought in over fiber optic. So I don't know what the difficulties would be to upconvert to L-band and be stable, but there's products out there to bring L-band back in over analog fiber. So
okay,
Clint would know about that too.
sounds great. Well, back to net.
Net copy?
Yeah, we're here. There's
okay.
There's no moderation at this point.
Oh, a free for all.
Anybody can talk. Rob Robinette's there, but he said he'd be in and out, so I don't know where he is exactly.
Well, I guess I'm gonna go back and spend some time with the family here then. Nathaniel, I'll mail out for the F3060 filters tomorrow for you. And I guess, just send them to your university address.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, sure, no problem. And okay, everybody, have a great day or evening wherever you may be, and see you around.
See you.
Thanks, Paul.
Yep.
I guess, Bill, while you're on, let me show you what I'm seeing for the uploads to the UA server here. So this is, so if I go search for my W2NAF-ARCS 888-active vertical, and I have, there are 2 days reporting. So that it got up that far. So the 20th and the 21st. But if I click them, the 20th just shows a little bit at the end. And I thought, well, that might just be because it just got started. But then if I look at the 21st, I also have even less at the end.
Yeah, and you can take a look at the size of the files.
Yeah.
See how small the files are? Usually those files are more like 20 meg.
Right.
So I don't know for sure. The only theory I have on it right now is that something is going wrong during either the recording of the data or the packaging of it or something. Because I'm seeing this with some other stations now as well, not just yours.
Okay.
And I emailed a note to Rob about this, asking about this morning. I know that there's been a lot of maintenance going on the ARCS 888 side, and we haven't touched our system for months.
Yeah.
So it's really, I'm really baffled, mystified by by what is going on, because I don't know what it is. A lot of files are getting cut off, or you're just getting, I'm just receiving a small part of it. Now, if someone knows how to look at the RX888 and see how large the file is on the RX888, you might be able to see if the files are really that small on the RX888 before they're sent, then if the problem is occurring higher up in the pipeline than the UA system.
Right. Okay, I will I'll dialogue with Rob about that over the next few days or so. And because I'm starting to get more into actually getting my hands on the terminal of these RX888 systems. So I'll see if I can figure that out. And let's see. So for the other stations that I have, see my ground magnetometer, it says graph for observation unavailable.
Yeah, we have never done graphs for the magnetometers on this system.
Okay.
If somebody wanted to write a program, I mean, we could do that. We could certainly add that. It's making the graphs for the magnetometer is quite straightforward. I mean, you can do it with a spreadsheet.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think we would like to get that added. I think this again goes back to I think what we're gonna have to do is with when Christina comes online and with you, I think we're gonna have to come up with a basically a list of all the desired features and where we want it to go, and then I think we're gonna have to prioritize and plan and actually decide what we want implemented and what can be done.
Yes, yes, and plotting the data for the magnetometer would be a fun project for an undergraduate. I mean, that's straightforward to do.
That makes a lot of sense. And then let's see, we have the Grape 1 FL Digi now, and that is working. So I've got my Grape 1 legacy system is now reporting. And so is my Grape 1 digital RF. That's over here. So here's the Grape 1 DRF. So my two Grape 1s are now working, and my magnetometer is now uploading. So I guess the magnetometer is working, the Grape 1s are now working. So it's really the RX888s that this is an old observation. Yeah, it's now the RX888s that I need to get functional. Okay, thanks. That helps though. A better idea of where to look.
I wish I had enough insight into how the RX888 works internally to be able to offer any advice on that, but
yeah, as I said, I'm learning more about that. So as time goes on.
Well, when you figure it out, explain it to me, because I'd like to know how it works too.
That sounds good. I will definitely do that. Well, if it's a quiet evening here, I might say 73 as well because it's been a long day. But I think we have been making good progress and we'll continue doing so.
Very good.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
7-3s, everybody.
7-3.
7-3s. Best regards as